All right, now that we've finished the series, I wanted to do kind of an overview about what maybe someone with a lot of hours and
Somebody that doesn't have very many.
thinks about what might be the best picks or the worst picks, and maybe for a different set of scenarios. So let's go ahead and begin with Kat. What do you think the best pick for a new player would be?
Dual blades.
Dual blades.
Yeah.
Why?
Very straightforward, very fast, very got high mobility, hits pretty hard, and it's just fun.
I think as well it's flashy. It feels good to use. The
Yes.
stamina drain's pretty rough. I think we commented that the stamina drain on bow was rough. But it just didn't feel anywhere near as bad as on dual blades. Dual blades was just great. And demon mode looks cool. I think for an experienced user, the best weapon to pick up would probably be something like longsword. I think longsword has a ton of potential in this game, way more than it maybe it's even ever had. But now that it's kind of this strong, I almost want to say instead hunting horn.
Hunting horn was very fun. I really liked it.
I think you can agree with this. I'm saying that I think an experienced player who maybe has been using longsword the last couple of games might be able to do more, if not better, with a hunting horn in this one. And then, what do you think about a new player using hunting horn?
It was pretty straightforward and simple, and it was fun. I think I could definitely recommend it to somebody that's new as well.
I think it's flashy. It hits. I love all the the tons of hits that are happening. It just feels good to use. Now, what weapon would you absolutely not recommend for a new user? A new player?
There's a couple, or I'll say two. Charge blade and greatsword.
Alright, Charge Blade and Greatsword. Let's start with Greatsword since it's on the left here. Why not Greatsword?
It could just be my personal biases towards the weapon, feel, but it's so slow. It doesn't feel as fun to play as others. It's a more hit and run weapon and charging abilities, and I just didn't like it very much, but that could totally just be me.
Alright, and why not Charge Blade?
It's very convoluted. The controls and mastering it has a very high skill curve, and for me personally, that is not something I want to go with.
Alright. For me, I think I'll give mine. If you chose two that a new player probably shouldn't use, then I'll do two that I think a new player shouldn't use. I think a new player shouldn't go into bow.
Yeah.
Bow, it seems simple on the front, but let's say you and your friends just started playing Monster Hunter, and you're like, I love bows, dude, and you go to play bow, but your friend goes to play hammer.
Good old banana.
Good old banana. Your friend's gonna be sitting there clapping that monster for 50, 170. And then the bow user will be there going,
tickling it.
Like 21, 8, 7, 21, 21, 21. Wow, 8, 7.
Wow, I'm out of stamina.
I'm out of stamina. And then when the two players go to do solo things, the hammer user is going to come back after a day and be like, I cleared all of 5-star and 6-star. And the bow user will be like, I need help with 5-star. And it's not because bow isn't good, but it's because I think for a new user, if you chose hammer or dual blades, like you said, over bow, you would just find yourself in a much more fun position, period, than any of the other weapons.
I could agree with all that.
The next one, I do have to agree with Charge Blade a little bit with you there, but I kind of also want to throw in that I think a new user would find I think a new user would even actually find longsword easier to start with than some of the other weapons. But I think if a new user understands that Greatsword is a guerrilla type attacker, they'll be fine with it. But a lot of people aren't.
Yeah, like I said, that could be based off of my personal biases with the weapon type more than the actual weapon itself.
But this is all boiling down to my second choice, which I think a new user wouldn't like, and that's Sword and Shield.
Yeah, I could see that. I didn't really like it that much either.
The reason being is that choosing whether to use your shield claps to your sword hits is a little strange, and there's some weird combo thing that doesn't flow correctly between the attacks. Sometimes your combo will just end, and it doesn't feel good. Making the combo back B into Y is so fast. You have to do it so quickly that sometimes you'll just immediately start going into the forward attack, the one where you lunge forward, and you're like, no, I wanted to do Y. And it boils down to the same thing. Sword and Shield didn't really hit that hard, and I know it's not about damage for some of us who've been playing for a while. We understand that fast hits and mobility, not getting hit in the first place, means more. But for a new user, man, that hammer hits hard. Those dual blades hit fast. Even the gunlance, like, I've got a big shield and explosions that hit hard. Like, these weapons are all fantastic. The heavy hitting bow gun abilities, the fast shooting, high mobility light bow gun. Then you have high stamina usage, and you're pretty lucky if you're going to get good damage bow, and the strange combo breaking animation set of the Sword and Shield. And then, of course, I do agree with you. The Charge Blade for a new user might be atrocious.
It's flashy, but the controls, I couldn't do it.
All right. And then, what do you think an experienced user might be able to pick up and do the best with?
Experienced?
From your point of view, just thinking about how we've gone through all the weapons, which ones do you think?
Well, if they can get the controls down since they're experienced, I'm pretty sure Charge Blade is probably really good. Maybe Longsword, Hammer. I don't know.
Longsword and Hammer, okay, and Charge Blade, of course, Charge Blade. But I know for a fact that Longsword does have infinite potential to do more and more and more. If anyone's played Longsword before, being able to invulnerability slash into more damage is insane. Longsword definitely is a pick for me in terms of what someone could take into the Well Beyond and do infinitely well with as an experienced user. Same thing with Charge Blade. Charge Blade guard points are insane. To be able to time your attacks where your shield is going to hit in the middle of your attack while you're getting hit is just galaxy brain. It is absolutely wild. But skipping over Charge Blade because that weapon is absolutely crazy. I would agree with your assumption of Hammer. I think anyone who does well at Hammer will do extremely well the more they play it. I think you'll get down to a point where the monster may not ever be able to move because you're just clapping it so hard with your banana suit.
Good old banana.
But just to play that we're not choosing the same ones on both, Longsword is one of my picks, and then Hunting Horn.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hunting Horn. When we did it, the monster could barely get up off the ground. It was pretty crazy.
I think even though it's basically just clap hammer, music hammer, and it does a little bit less constant damage or per hit damage than the hammer does, I feel like an experienced user who's like, I like hammer in the previous games, could come over to this one, take Hunting Horn, and do almost better. Because Hunting Horn hit so hard, and then it has buffs. And then you can take your team that you're playing with and give them buffs.
Yeah, it was definitely pleasing to play.
Yep. But yeah, I wanted to keep this short and sweet and just kind of summarize what we thought. all the weapons were really fun to play, given that Chargeblade probably was the least fun for us to play. I think they kind of shafted Chargeblade pretty hard this time around. And Insect Glaive is not meant to fight small monsters.
No, not at all.
If we were to fight a Rathian, Orcon after the Magnamalo, the Insect Glaive would have shined so much more. But besides that, I hope you guys like the series. We're going to be doing more series where we play a game together and we talk about it. If you want to see any in particular, go ahead and leave a comment. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Yep, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye!
Peace.